go. Bon Jovi, how you doing, folks? Good to be back. I've got a bottle here. Have you? I wonder what it was. It is a Revisionist Pacific Hop Red Ale, exclusively from Tesco's, and I bought it in Tesco's today because I was walking around and I was looking for some bread and milk and the usual stuff, and I thought I'd just have a little walk down the ales aisle, and I saw this one and it was there for £1. So I haven't got my glasses with me, but I'm going to try and read this as best I can. Banks's Brewmaster Simon Yates, his Red Ale, delivers full flavour, hopped at 4 stages. They've probably just done, you know, hop additions at different stages, using aromatic South Pacific hop varieties from New Zealand, imparting an exotic tropical bitterness with a dark fruit hop character. Malted barley, carbon dioxide and hops. That's what's in the beer. But yeah, if you want to pop into your local Tesco's, folks, have a little look around. This is £1. The Red Ale, Pacific Red, running in at 4.2%, a massive 4.2%. It's fine. Let's give it a little open and a pour. There we go. It's not bottle conditioned, so you haven't got to worry about any hop bits being at the bottom there. Bring it up to the camera there, you can see it's quite clear, decent carbonation in there, nice decent sort of red colour. And to give you an idea as to how it looks, here's one I prepared earlier from one of my beers. That's the Lakey Bloke Oi Oi Bitter Ale. Different colour completely, isn't it? What's it smell of? It's got a very light sort of ale smell to it. It's you know, the very light sort of malt smell that you get from most ales that aren't massively hopped. I suspect this isn't going to be massively hopped, so let's give it a go. Very crisp indeed. Not bad at all though. There are some hop hits in there. It tastes very much to me though, and I'm not saying it's a bad beer, but it tastes very much to me like a home brew. You know what I mean? If you do, I've got one here to hand, of course, one I prepared earlier. That's quite a nicely hopped beer. This hasn't got as much hops in. However, it's got that homebrew feel about it. It doesn't feel like it's a pub ale, you know, an ale that you would buy when you're at the pub. It feels like it's been brewed by someone on a smaller scale, rather than, you know, a big corporate company, which is not necessarily a bad thing, folks. I'll be honest with you. It's very pleasant. It's quite crisp. Again, decent carbonation for a bottled ale. I do like the bottle. I should be keeping that and using that again. See if we can get the labels off. Waste not, want not, folks. Get the labels off. It seems to be fairly easily removed, these labels. Yeah, they're only stuck on with a light bit of glue. And yeah, dry hopped with. Here we go, folks. I'm just looking at the top of the bottle. So it's been dry hopped with Waimea and Pacific Gem, aromatic fruity hop flavour, cold conditioned. Waimea. Now you'll have to excuse me if I haven't pronounced that correctly, and I'm sure you will correct me, folks, because those are the sort of people that you are. Excuse me, I just need to get myself a tissue. I should be back in a second. I just need to lean over here. Excuse Fatty Roy while he squeezes past the camera. Right. Waimea and Pacific Gem. I don't know anything about those hops, I'll be perfectly honest with you, but I only found that out because I read the label at the top there. At the top there, it tells you on the top, just there. It doesn't tell you on the label, it just says Pacific hop. Waimea, W-A-I-M-E-A, and Pacific Gem. Now, if I was a professional beer brewer, I would have done some reading up before I had a bash at this, and I would have told you all about those particular hops. However, A, I'm not very organised, as those that have followed me for a very long time will know, and B, you know, I did it off the cuff, so and sometimes that's not a bad thing, you know, because if you don't know what's in there, then you can come into it fresh and you've not got any expectations. I had no expectations of this. When I bought it, I just saw it and I thought it was quite cheap for £1. £1 UK English pounds. Yeah, and they only had 2 bottles on the shelf. So I picked up one of them. There is another beer on the shelf at Tesco's that I'm going to be doing a separate beer review of. A little bit of a drinky poo in the chat on that one, but that will come at a later date. But how pleased am I on a scale of 1 to 10 with this beer, considering it cost me £1? You know what? It's got there is a kind of tropical fruit twang to it, but I wouldn't say it's predominant. It's not out in the front, it's at the back, and if you didn't know it was there, you'd probably have to look for it, and you'd have to appreciate that that's what you're getting. And I think I can probably say that because I've just read on the back here that it's a kind of tropical sort of fruity bitterness to it. Maybe that's influencing me in trying to pick it out. But yeah, it's quite a dry ale, but what I will say is in actual fact it's a very, very, very pleasant beer. Not got much of a head on it. But you know me, folks, as I always say, it's not about the head, it's about the flavour. Doesn't matter that it hasn't got much of a head on it. Some people like head retention, some people aren't bothered by it. I fall into the latter category. If you want head retention, this is what you do. You pick up your glass and you give it a little swizz around. That also tells you how good the lacing is. Now the lacing on that is not too bad at all, it's okay, and we've got a little bit of a head now, you see. Little trick for you folks, little trick. Yeah, it's not a bad beer at all, and also if you swish it around like this, it releases some of the flavours. I would say it's a slightly bitter ale. But you know what? For £1 you can't go wrong, and that is very, very pleasant indeed. Would I drink it again? Absolutely. I'd give that an 8 out of 10, folks. That's a very nice, pleasant drink. So if you see it on the shelf at your local Tesco's, and Tesco's have got it on a sale at the moment because I suspect they're trying to get rid of them. There you go. There it is. It's the Revisionist Pacific Hop Red Ale, craft brewed by Marston's, exclusively for Tesco's. Very nice indeed, can't find fault with it. I would say It's probably a little too bitter for my palate. However, the tropical hoppiness in there is enough to cover up some of that bitterness and give you quite a nice flavour. So initially, you know, you get the bitterness, and then you get the hit of the hops, which counteracts almost immediately that bitterness. So I would say it's quite a nice balanced beer. I'd like it a little bit more light, and maybe if we had a little bit of crystal malt in there, make it a little bit sort of give it a little bit of a toffee twang to it. That would be quite nice. I like the crystal malt, folks. I'm sorry, but I really do like toffee kind of beers and that kind of thing. But yeah, folks, give it a go. Very pleasant indeed. Look, I finished it, so it must be all right. The Revisionist Pacific Hop Red Ale with Waimea and Pacific Gem hops at your local Tesco's for £1. All right. Cheers, folks. I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da.